Oh man, here we are just shooting the breeze and having fun. All right, gang. Listen, we are doing the TWC. We got so much to cover with you. You know, if you want to read the leaderboards, go to the Facebook app and see who are all our top people. But we got so many great people on here today. I'm just really excited. And this is some mega folks that I want to introduce you to. We're going to teach you how to multiply your business. One of the most important ways of doing it, there's many important ways of doing it, but just in my humble but accurate opinion, nothing like going to a major conference, a major event, where you get around people that are like-minded, people are doing what you're doing, where you get training, you get association, you get around the people that are doing it, man. It's like, let me ask you, if you're married, you got a spouse or boyfriend, which is better, a long distance relationship over internet or when you are together, you know what I'm saying? You know, and it is the same analogy here is when you are with people and with the excitement, things change in your brain that nothing else will. And so the people that we're looking for, the people that we build a long-term business with, people that will duplicate what we're doing, they'll perpetuate your business. If you want to build a big business, I'm just assuming all y'all want to build a big business, huge business. We've got a big business, right? You want to build a big business. Now, if you don't want to build a big business and you just want to sell insurance, we love you that you're selling insurance, man. Make no mistake. You matter to us. But the people that want to build a big business of people that produce insurance, functions and events are where you need to be. So I've got some of our top people, and I want them to talk about how major events have changed their lives, changed their business. And we have an important event coming up the 24th through the 26th of June called Family Reunion. And we are fired up because Mr. Aceta, Mark Aceta, will be totally running the agenda. And we're excited that Mark Aceta is going to do that. So we are going to be immersed in the way to blow our business up to 10,000 agents and functions, $1 billion of issue paid life insurance every year. It's going to be vital that we get as many people there as possible. So I want you to hear from some of our top people. You heard Mr. Osuna, the prophet, yesterday on the product call. He is my buddy, he's my friend. We go back a long time. Marvin is in the airport. He decided to share with you, and I appreciate it, Marvin. Dude, rock and roll, dude. You got to catch a plane. Let's do it, man.
Thank you so much. We are boarding on a plane right now on our way to Southern California to some of our new agents. Very excited for that.
And we just lost him. Oh, man, that's too bad. So Marvin was going to give us his story on, oh, there he is. There he is. Go. He's on the plane. Do it. Unmute.
Marvin Osuna, Director Jason and Tony Carey, and it is a privilege to be on this call. And what I wanted to share with the team this morning is that when we first came on board, guys, we came on board in 2011, and at the time we had hit rock bottom, financially and also as a couple. And it was 1 week when I joined. It was 1 week before Family Reunion, and Tony and Jason were talking to us, and they said, "You guys have to figure out a way for Marvin to get there, because these are life-changing events. These are places where everything changes, and you can start a brand new life after an event like that." And they said, if you don't do anything different, nothing's going to change. And so, we were thinking about it for a long time. We didn't have any money. So we decided to, borrow money from relatives. Remember, if it was a week before the event, at that point, just the airplane ticket was $1,200. And so we needed about $1,600 total for me to get there. So we borrowed money from relatives. We had a couple of garage sales, you know, try to sell everything we could to make sure that we had enough money to make it to a family reunion just for one person. And, you know, 2 days before the event, I was still struggling. I was still trying to find an extra $300 that I needed. And without me knowing, Rachel took our wedding bands, her wedding band and mine, and she took it to the pawn shop. She left early in the morning. That way I wouldn't know. And then she waited until they opened and took our wedding bands, you know, to get the extra $350, $400 that they gave her. And so, you know, she came back and said, look, they're telling us that this is our one shot. This is our opportunity. So we got to do whatever we need to do. You know, can't be mad at me, but we got to make some sacrifices. And so, you know, we did. And thank God, you know, I was able to spend 3 days at the conference. And I just felt, you know, even though there was 2,000 people there in Raleigh, I felt like I was the only person there, and that every speaker was talking to me, speaking life, you know, into my family, my business. And I got a great opportunity to talk to Jane Albright before she went up on stage. And I said, look, you don't know who I am. I'm just a brand new agent, but I want to tell you what my wife did. And, you know, her eyes teared up and she said, you know what? You tell Rachel that the sacrifice she made is going to bring a great harvest for you guys. And the material things, you're going to be able to recover. You're going to be able to get them back. But what she did for you was just such an amazing sacrifice. And tell her we love her and everything, you know. So I called Rachel right away and I told her, and she was crying on the phone. But man, after that weekend, I'm telling you, I came back. I was on fire. I had made huge life-changing decisions. I had made big decisions about habits that I wanted to change and things that I wanted to start doing. And thank God, you know, we went to work hard. I was able to recover our wedding band. So right now I don't have them on me because we just went through security here at the airport. But I was able to recover our wedding band, you know, came back, started building a business. And man, the opportunities that we've had now to be able to, you know, travel around the country, travel around the world for myself and my kids, Rachel, it's just been amazing. And the opportunities that we can now create for our kids by the grace of God are just amazing. And I am just so grateful, you know, for this opportunity and for these big events, because these big events will change your life. Just got to come with an open heart, with childlike faith. And you just got to know that this is your time, that this is the year where everything is going to change. Start putting in the activity now. Start making the decisions right now. Start building your team right now, but get ready for this amazing event that's coming up in June, right here, baby, in Reno, Nevada. So Alex Avian, thank you so much, brother. You have been an inspiration to me for such a long time. Before I even introduced myself to you, I was watching your YouTube classes. I see you like as the Yoda of the Alliance, like so wise and so much information. And I've learned so much from you, brother. Thank you so much. We love you and Jeannie. And just thank you for this great honor to be on this call. Love you, my friend.
I love you, Marvin. Thank you so much, brother. You're awesome. There you go. The prophet, Marvin Osuna, man. He is my man. I appreciate you. Thanks. All right. I want to bring up our lovely rep, our lovely agent out of Hawaii, Anne-Marie Brack. She's one of our top producers. And man, I'm so glad to have her on here. Got some FaceTime, Anne-Marie. And what time is it out there in Hawaii?
It is 5:11.
And you look like ravishing. I tell you what, I wish I looked that good when I would wake up at 5 in the morning.
I
So
appreciate that.
God bless. So, man, introduce yourself to Alliance Nation. Tell us about how an event changed your life.
Right. My name is Anne-Marie Brax, direct to Patrick Connors. I'm into a few events, but the one that I have to say that really changed my life was, I don't remember when it was, maybe a couple years ago. We didn't, again, just like the last speaker, we didn't have a lot of money. I bought one-way tickets. And we just waited there till I was, trying to figure out how we were even going to get back home. And I'm in Hawaii, so I'm all the way in North Carolina. So it's kind of crazy to do. But, I really needed my other half to see what was going on in the Alliance so we could understand, what it was like. It's like you said, the event changes your view in a way that nothing else does. So it's really important that if you have people to bring them there because they'll understand it in a way that you could never explain it yourself. So that was the most life-changing event, and he got his license after that, and we're still.
So you brought your significant other with you?
Mm-hmm. I did.
So tell us why that was important for you to do that.
Well, because, when I'm spending all this time on the phone and I'm out running appointments and this and that, it's, he sees that I'm gone a lot, and I just needed him to know what it was for and how important that this, opportunity is for the two of us. So I needed him on board because it would also actually help me stay on board too, because he could push me, I could push him, that kind of thing. Two is always better than one.
That's so awesome. I mean, that's so important, isn't it, for your support person in your house to support what you're doing by seeing what we're doing. So the people that he got to meet and the event and the atmosphere really impacted him?
It did. The music, especially in the beginning, which was nice, getting off that long flight. I was tired. I wanted to go lay down, but he didn't want to leave. And it was crazy how it impacted him. I didn't think, I wanted it to. I just didn't know it was going to be that great. So it was really great. I was like, can you just take a break? But he didn't want to.
I love that. I love that so much. And here you are, like you're killing it. And you know what? Who knows? Like if you did not bring him, that maybe he would have been down on you and maybe he wouldn't be here today with us.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, that was such a smart thing, man. If you have ears, please hear what she just said. If you got a spouse that they don't even know why you're doing this, why are you doing insurance, man? You're like that Ned Ryerson guy on Groundhog's Day. Man, bring him to an event. And I tell you what, I promise you, it will change your business, right? Anne-Marie, I appreciate you getting up 5 a.m.
Absolutely.
Try to keep your eyes open through the rest of this. And your lovely smile. It's so awesome. All right, man. Let's bring up my buddy, Jose Compton, out of the state of Washington. Right. Everyone goes, Avian, you got younger people on your team? It's like, yeah, I do. I got some younger people on my team. And shut up already. If you do 720,000 in the month of January, then you got something to tell me. But if you ain't got 720,000 with 200 agents running business, then shut the hell up. All right, Jose Compton, rock on, man. Tell us about the function.
Tell us about what?
The conference. How an event changed your life?
So the event that changed my life, man, it had to be the most recent event, the one that we just had in North Carolina. It was more luxurious when I lived in Florida and was only able to drive 12 hours to North Carolina. But, I drove 2.5 days to North Carolina from Washington State to get to an event because I was scared of an airplane. I'm still scared of an airplane, but, that's besides the point. If there's a will, there's a way. That's what they say. But so I got there and, the biggest reason, man, I've been watching Megan Wood. I got to give shout out to Megan Wood and her production. What she's doing is incredible. Been just writing multiple policies in a home going in there now, bundling policies, writing at least 3 heart attack, cancer, stroke, writing accidental, writing, regular insurance policies. And what I really wanted to do was go to this event where I was like, listen, man, I need a team. As much as how good it is that I'm coming out here and I'm learning from great people, Patrick Connors, Alex Abian, the Levantoviches, everybody on this call, man, we're all amazing. I need a team. I cannot do this by myself. I said, I look over here in my book, I'm like, dang, I got 300 leads. How in the heck am I going to do that by myself? It's very impossible, but it will happen over time, but I need it now. It's what Andy Albright says, man, you can make this much amount of money over a period of time, but it's really what matters is getting it now, getting it as fast as you can. We all have the same amount of time. We all can make the same amount of money, but how fast can we get it? So I went to North Carolina, and Marcus Setta, when he was talking about basically sorting through the apples and finding the red apple versus the green apple. Maybe that green apple is a Granny Smith, but whatever. You really want that shiny red apple. And when I came home, man, I just been talking to people. We just had a meeting in Bothell, Washington, with Gina Hogg, Joe Walker, Tawny, Jake and Bill Kraus. Man, I gotta give a shout out to them because they've been really putting in a lot of effort and just working with me over here. Although I'm not on their team, and that's what's crazy about this, they're still allowing me to come to them and ask them questions and work with them. I brought 3 people to the event, to the opportunity meeting over here when I came back from North Carolina, and I got 3 people signed up in class, ready to go, and I'm still looking for more. Like Andy Albright says, one more when it comes down to insurance policies, when it comes down to recruiting, when it just comes down to everything, even events. You got to think one more. We need one more event. We need to go one more time. Because every single time that you go, regardless of how much you have to pay, whether it's $199, $399, $599, shoot, I'll pay $1,000 if I have to go to one of these events, just because of the fact that what we get out of it is worth $1 million.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about, man. He got in his freaking car. He drove from Washington State to North Carolina. He didn't give a squat about how long it took. He knew that he needed to get there, man. Jose, I'm fired up. And you did the most. You did what? January, you did the most production you've ever done?
When I did my first month, man, it's so crazy. And this is why I look at people, and this is why I got to give everybody a little bit of credit, because if it was just me doing it by myself, I would not be able to learn the stuff that I'm learning today. When I look back, when I started in 2020 of December, and that's around, Christmas and New Year's, I made $500 my first month. This last month, I looked into my ARC and I made $50,000 my whole year. Right now, I'm sitting at 20 grand issue paid.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. The power of events, the power of getting around the heat. And when you have to pay a bigger price to get there, you get more out of it. I guarantee you get more out of it. Brother, that rocks, man. I appreciate you so much, man. That's good stuff. Jose Compton, man, come to Family Reunion and you will see Jose. His butt's going to be in that seat, man, drinking it and eating it all up. God bless, man. And Reno is how many hours from you? Drive?
It's not 2.5 days. It's only 12 hours.
12 hours. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, and that's why we do these functions all over the country, brother, for people that want to pay the price like you. All right, I'm going to bring on one of my buddies that I'm fired up about, my man in New Jersey, John Famiano. Dude, I got to hear the story. Every time I hear the story about you and Family Reunion last year, I just get so jacked up, dude. My man, John Famiano.
Yeah, good morning. And listen, as always, I need to thank you, Patrick, Andy, everybody who built this up and blessed us to be part of this unique organization. But, going back to when I first joined, the last thing I wanted to do, we were still under lockdown kind of up here, and things just weren't going good. And, I could name every reason why I did not want to go. And Alex was just like a constant, and he was badgering me subliminally. If anybody knows Alex, he got that Jedi warrior type of, selling. So he was just blasting me, and he was just nicely like, dude, you should go, bro, you should go. And honestly, I got the ticket, and I didn't make up my mind to go till like the day before. Like everything inside me was just like, I just did not want to go. And then what I thought of was Alex. And I was like, you know something? I don't want to disappoint him. Like I knew he would just be disappointed if I didn't go. So I went. And as soon as I got there, the warmth, the humility of everybody at that place, and the diversity. Now, when you got to go to these events, because I went to these events looking for an answer. I was looking for a common ground of how I could figure out how to make money at the Alliance. But what I found was so much more broad than that. I saw a diverse group of people from a diverse group of backgrounds that really everybody had their own story of what they'd gotten through in order to get to where they are now. And there was nothing but help, genuine sincerity, genuine help. And I could go on about what I learned there, but it really, I learned a ton there. And I learned a ton when I went back to NatCom. But seeing everybody, like this time when I went back to NatCom, it was Megan. And I'm looking at Megan saying, man, when I looked at the discipline, there's nothing you could say about Megan other than she has the discipline of anybody like I've ever seen to get in that car at 8 o'clock in the morning and not even stop to take a drink until she go pick up her son. You can't get more discipline than that. So you just take a little bit. You're not going to learn one thing that's going to make you say, oh man, this is it. You're going to learn little bits of things here and there. And you're going to see the people you're around. One of my best parts of the last NatCom was just sitting at the table with Alex and Ginny and having dinner and just talking. Those are things that you cannot understand, but you need to go. I went there, I was unsure, and you know something? I came back lit. And I'll tell you what, I stayed Sunday and I went to Reverend Tim's to preach at Tim's church in the morning. And I talked to my daughter after I was on my way home, right? My daughter says to me, she goes, how do you feel spending the weekend with insurance? I'm like, it was great. She's like, are you pumped? Like she considers insurance boring. She's like, how exciting could it be? You pumped? I said, let me tell you something. I'm ready to go invade South Carolina. All right? That's how pumped these people got me, man. I'm like, I found something here, and I found the common ground. When you go, you'll see that everybody's selling. Megan's going door to door. I can never do that. I'm sure Megan could never stay on the phone and just pitch people for hours. Everybody has their own way of selling. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And you're going to realize that all you need to do is you need to, like my man Compton said, right? You need to have a system. You need to delegate responsibility. And that's what I realized the first time I went, is that people weren't trying to do it all on their own. They were delegating responsibility. Either their wife were there, their kids were there. When I came home, I went and I hired cold callers in order to set appointments, to help me set appointments, not to do it on my own, to fill in the gaps, right? And that's some of the things that I took off my plate that I learned the first time. But you have to come to these events. You need to come to Reno because I'm telling you, it'll change your life. And Alex told me, he said, John, I'll give you back your money if you don't like it. That's how much confidence. He was like, just go. I got in my car, I went, and I couldn't wait to go to NatCom. And I suffer from anxiety, right? So when I get to a place, everybody sees me like, oh, John, he loves it. He never wants to leave. But they see me there, but they don't see what it took to get me there. They don't see the anxiety that I go through before I go somewhere. And I learned to deal with it and I get over it. But once I was there, it was just like, it was a blessing. And I left there and I love the fact that they're doing 4 and we're going to do it all over the place. But, I want to go to Burlington at least once a year because you go to that facility and you see what's going on and you see all the people that Andy has around him. They're just like him. They're just like Alex. They're just like Patrick. It's incredible. They all want to help. They're all happy to help. They're all there, like Alex says, to serve. And I said this last time, the way Andy created this, by having that glow system, right? The people that you're with, they're with you. They're your agency. You're building your own business inside the Alliance. The people that are with you, they're with you forever. You're going to make friends. You're going to make money, and you're going to be able to spend time with your family. You need to go to Reno. Go get the ticket, right? And make sure you get that hotel, because I'll tell you what, like I said, I wasn't going to that first event, and I wound up staying in a hotel like 15 miles away, man. Like they're not kidding. When Andy says those hotels are going to fill up, they're not kidding, right? And what I'll do is I'll give you a little secret when you go to Burlington about how to get parking in VIP parking. Okay, because when I pulled into that VIP parking after driving 9 hours like it was my own. Then I realized later I was walking out with Alex, and he was like, "You want me to drive you to your car?" And I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm parked right out there." He goes, "How'd you get into the VIP?" I'm like, "My man, I drove 8 hours. that doesn't entitle me to VIP parking." I keep
That's
myself.
what I'm talking about.
So yeah, so do it. Get your ticket. Love to Alex, Patrick, and everybody else that I learned from. You know, everybody else I learned from that's on that stage. Like Megan, you don't know it, but when you get on that stage, right, bits and pieces of what you're saying are changing people's lives. And that's what it's about. It's about changing people's lives, sharing. The blessings come back to you. Let's go to Reno. Let's kill it. And let's show the world what this alliance is about.
That's what I'm talking about. Dude, you're welcome to my VIP parking slot. Anyway, man, I appreciate that, dude. We're going to have a major announcement in this call about the hotel. Okay, so we'll let you know. Anyway, her name was invoked twice already. I'll invoke it again. Megan Wood, she's amazing. And we're so blessed to have her in our organization. Every time I see her on our number one on our leaderboard, like everybody's fighting for the second place because she's got number one. Like we've got her name like tattooed as number one. Everyone's fighting for second place. So Megan, I appreciate you. And you're sitting in your nice big ass house that you bought with that big ass pool. And it is true what you've done at our events is you've changed people's lives by changing your lives. So tell us about you and what an event did for you.
All right. Thank you for inviting me to be on this call, Alex. I don't know if you remember, but the very first call I was ever invited to be on was Alex Abian's call. I remember perfectly. I was in the back seat of my car with my son as my son was screaming in his car seat. So I'll never forget it. So the very first event that I went to, granted, Mike Levantovich kept telling me about events. And I'm like, but I got to run business. You know what I mean? So when he finally got me to the event, I'm like, oh, like this is why he wanted me to come. So not only was the event amazing, what I got most out of it was I was just super surprised that just as bad as Mike wanted me to win and just feeling like, you know, when Mike and Noel would tell me like, we believe in you, to be quite honest with you, I thought, well, isn't that weird? Because they don't really know me that well, but they believe in me, right? So then I went to my first event and I'm like, okay, everybody believes in me. I'm like, so it's so much different from what I've ever known before. Like growing up through your whole life, you have people, and they're normally the people that love you the most, that they don't believe in you. You can't do that. It's like, you know, we tell our kids every day, don't do that. You could fall. Don't do that. You could get hurt, right? So it was just so amazing to me. And hearing everybody's stories, the millionaire wall, I remember I said at my very first event, I want to be on that millionaire wall. And I'm going to be on that millionaire wall. And so, you know, I mean, just making a decision when I left that event that I'm going to take things more seriously because this is more real than what I thought it was. This isn't just the Kentucky office. This isn't just my office here in Lafayette. It's huge. But I think what spoke to me a lot, Alex, is that I was sitting there listening to everybody's stories. Paul Roberts was one of them because I've had my fair share of addictions and, you know, praying to just wake up the next day. So when I saw Paul Roberts' story, I'm like, man, if he can do this and go through as much struggles that he's gone through, that I was going through at that moment, I can do it too. And then I just realized that I had to put so many things that I was holding in, I had to just let him go. the negative things were holding me back from being great. So I made a decision not to let those negative things hold me back anymore from being great, because you cannot be great carrying negative things with you. So I was super fired up. I was so glad that I had made it there, and I've never missed one. I've never missed one since. And not only that, but I tripled my money after the very first event I went to. So it's like, if you're looking for a life-changing thing, like, that's what you need to do. Like, that's where you need to go. You have to. So like, I talk a lot about, it's not that we just want to, have to, because when you have a mindset of have to, then you become unstoppable. And so I'm just, I'm so looking forward to Reno, super fired up about it. I'm bringing a huge team with me, and I'm super fired up for them.
You are bringing a huge team. I can't tell you, regardless of what you're doing now, you're number one, absolutely. We love the fact, but the fact that you're with us still, and that you got into that event, and that event kept you moving forward, then the next event kept you moving forward. Each event built on the other one that compounded your income, compounded your attitude, compounded your commitment, and now you are on your way to go and partner, because you're building a huge team, and you know how important this is for them, and you are just not like, you are promoting it to them. So, wow, Megan, I appreciate you.
We already made 100,000 this year, so I'm super fired up about that.
See, what day is it? That's the 11th of February.
I'm like, yay!
That is amazing. That is amazing. Man, I love you. You are giving so many people out there hope. People with addictions, people that are battling stuff in their lives, and to know that the answer is not in their basement surfing the internet eating Cheez-Its or Cheetos. The answer is getting around the people. The answer is there. The answer is not in your own head. The answer is in Megan Wood's head, and she's going to give it out to you, right? Well, Megan, I'm so proud of you, so fired up for you, and man, I'm so glad you're on my team and no one else's team. Anyway, God bless you. All right, so I'm going to bring up her mentor, the one that promoted her to get to the conference, and one of my best friends in the business. I think I'm godparent to some of your kids and confirmation sponsor. You, me, and Patrick, we just kind of trade around each of our kids. So Mike Levantovich, he is, if we can't get you to the event, we're going to take the event to you. And so Mike is in SLC, Salt Lake City, taking the event to the people there, giving them a little bit of fire, a little bit of the spark that they're going to experience in Reno, Nevada in June. So Mike Levantovich, man, give us your best function event story that inspired you, that really changed how you thought about the business.
So there's a bunch out there. So I was at an event 5 years ago, and it was a Super Bowl. And prior to that, Noel said, we can go and drop all that money, but only if you can promise that if the Bengals ever go to the Super Bowl, that you'll take me to that Super Bowl. And I said, of course I can take you. The Bengals are never going to make it. I have a
Oh my gosh, dude.
So, unfortunately, as of the end of the AFC Championship, tickets are running about 3 times what I paid 5 years ago. But we got our plane tickets. We're talking about the ticket brokers, and we got a plane. So, we'll be at the game. But, all right. So, I made a big decision that event, and I had to back it up. All right. And I hope if you make a commitment to your wife and your kids, you put in the work so you can find a way to back it up. And I hope you can find a way to do things to put the time in, to build your business when it's not easy, when it's not convenient. So you can do fun things like that. I encourage you. It's worth it to be able to say, yeah, we'll find a way, All right. So with that said, by the way, we're not looking at the cheap seats. We're not looking at the $4,000 or $5,000 seats at the top of the arena. We're looking at the ones in section 100 and 200. Should we do the VIP seats or not, or whatever else? So it's just kind of different how when you take the time to build your business, you're making your decisions and thought process at a different level. They were being smart. I didn't jump on the tickets right away. So I might, we'll find a deal. But all right. But coming back, but seriously, my first event, we were at the Comfort Inn, I think it was a Comfort Inn in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. And I remember them talking about building a business to agency manager because partner didn't exist at that point. And I just remember sitting there and saying, hey, look, with what you can do with your first year commissions and building a system with overrides and renewals, in 2 to 3 years, you could be making $250,000 or $500,000. Now, for me, I had the optimist saying, okay, that sounds cool. I had the cynic in me saying, well, since they're in sales, they're probably lying. It's probably only half true. So for me, if they're saying 500 to 250, probably like 125 to 250 for me. And I'm like, I'm not that great at sales, so it's probably gonna take me twice as long. So I was like, but even at that, well, that means making 125 to 250,000 in the next 4 years. That was still 2 to 4 times as much as what I was making as an engineer. And I realized my engineering path, I wasn't going to get there. So I was like, it was kind of a no-brainer. I was like, okay, we're in. And I remember Patrick and I, we had this big Rand McNally Atlas, and we said, okay, we're going to carve out which parts of the country we're going to own. And we're idiots. And we're just like, it's just funny, but we set on a path, and big decisions are made at big events because you start to realize what's possible. So that's probably the one thing I can give you there. Alex, I think as you're here and as you're sitting here thinking, certainly getting yourself to our event in Reno, but bringing people with you. If you can imagine having 10 people with you and knowing that 1 or 2 or 3 have the ability to make a big decision, and what that can mean for the impact on your business in the next 90 days coming out of it. That's a massive, massive piece for you and what you can do as a team by bringing folks with you and helping them understand the power. Alex, I think, did you want me to talk a little bit about the inviting part? Did you want me to jump into that, or you just want you to do it?
No, I think, no, I did. That was rocking. So you guys are doing home meetings, home parties, right?
We're doing everything.
Yeah, doing everything.
I mean, it's like Noelle literally had 3 home meetings scheduled in different parts of Florida in different organizations. One, we had a COVID situation that she ended up doing a Zoom session with people, but she had 2 other home meetings where, hey, these are people that said, hey, they were at conferences. Man, I'd like to get some people together. I said, great, you invite them. I'll come down there. I'll be there. So we had that happening. Jake and Bray, they had a meeting at their office on Monday. Jarrett and Jerry Gonzalez all had people invited. Some people drove from 2 or 3 or 4 hours away to be there. And so we had new people there. We had 22 people in their office. I was in Phoenix. I was in Denver and was in Salt Lake. And we've had new people at those events this week. We did a small group of new people that have just scattered from different parts of the country with Zoom on with Noelle on Zoom on Wednesday. And it's just like, we're just doing a lot of different things. We're doing one-on-ones, we're doing 2-on-ones, we're doing, group presentations. We're doing we're using all of the tools to present, and we're making sure we use the great presenters, who's good at presenting, to do that. And we're allowing people to use the credibility of the people that are making stuff work. And we're teaching people how to properly invite so that they can see a quality presentation and make a decision. And we're not forcing people. We're just finding the ones that are saying, hey, yeah, that's me. Let's go. Please tell me how to get started.
Absolutely, dude. That's really, to me, one of the most important things that we do in a business like ours is one where we are inviting people to an opportunity. Here's what I've ever thought about. You're talking about the presenting. We have different ways of presenting the opportunity to people, but you cannot present unless you have people there, right? And how you invite them is real important. There are like real key principles to inviting, right? You got to be confident in what you're doing when you're inviting people to it, right? You're enthusiastic about what you're doing. You're providing value to the client. You know that this thing is something that they need. See, the problem with a lot of people, right, Mike, is that they feel like they're going to make money off their prospect, but their prospect's not to get any value out of it. They're not going to be able to benefit from it. And that's why agents are so scared to talk to their people. You know, it's like, man, you're going to change their life like a Megan Wood. How many people do you know they're on their knees? Probably you don't know. Knees praying to God, I need something. And you don't know until you talk to them. So the value to them is at least as good as you. I've always said this, dude. If it looks good to you, isn't it going to look good to people that you know, that your opportunity is the same one you're giving them? So you got to believe in the value that you're giving them. But then you got to tell them where to go, what to do. You got to give them direction on, hey, okay, we got this meeting that I'm putting together in my house. I got this meeting that I'm putting together on Zoom, got this meeting, blah, blah, blah. It's real important that you be there. I think there's something there that you're going to see. Now, if you start talking, blabbing, and you start showing the opportunity, then you're going to lose credibility, and you're going to give them too much information to make a decision. It's not for me. Why don't you put the presenting in the hands of people that know how to do it with credibility? The best thing you can do is say, look, one of my business partners coming to town, super successful. He's partnered up with a guy in Florida, a guy named Mr. Andy Albright. We're putting some things together here that I think you're going to be fired up about. But listen, I don't got a lot of time. You know, can you clear your calendar for that date, right? So, Mike, what are you teaching your people on how to invite people to an opportunity to present?
First thing is as you're inviting, understand the difference between inviting and presenting. And the less is more in the invite process is really critical. And you started to touch on that, Alex. And so I think it's being able to say, you know, minimal amount. And I think deciding if you're brand new, or if I'm coaching a brand new person, because I was talking to somebody today who said, Mike, I'm spending some time going back to people in my warm market. How should I be thinking about presenting? So I think you need to know what are you inviting them to as a presentation? Are you inviting to a 2-on-1 or a group setting, or are you going to do the 1-on-1? So you might be a veteran, and this person said, Mike, should I be doing a 2-on-1, or should I be leaning on someone like you or Alex or Andy to help me out, or whatever they're asking? And I said, well, it depends. I said, if the person knows you as this productive business person over the last 2 years, you've got credibility, you've got big paychecks in our business, you might be fine doing a 1-on-1. But if you haven't talked to them in a while, and the you that they remember is the one that was smashing beer cans on their forehead and doing the champion beer bong guy, or the one that was, you know, putting lines on the mirror. If that's the you they remember, then you might be better served with a 2-on-1 where somebody else brings the business credibility to the table. So I think, how do they think of you, as you can guess, may impact whether you do a 2-on-1 or a 1-on-1. So where you bring a 2-on-1, where you bring the relationship credibility, and someone else that's got bigger paychecks and more traction, and is going to be looked at in a different light, and they don't know all their baggage of that individual, brings the business credibility. And so if you're setting up that way, then again, in that invite, you can say less. And again, it's as simple as, hey, man, Alex, hey, let me just give you a quick shout here. Hey, how things going? How's Jenny? How's the kids? Whatever we're chatting about this. Hey, listen, outside of what I've been doing in the engineering world, I've started working with another program, a company. I'm pretty excited. Things are looking real good so far. But my buddy Alex, that's putting things together, he's like, Mike, we need some more help. And we've got these folks, we call them leads, but these are folks that are asking for help, and we're getting them enrolled in certain financial insurance programs. And so I said, Boo, hey, you got your options open to making some more money, or might be looking to do something to help us out? And if they say yes, say, listen, let me get you on the phone with Alex. Or, hey, can you meet me and Alex for a cup of coffee? I'd like to introduce you to him. Let's do things. If you can do face-to-face, I think that's ideal. If it needs to be on the phone or over Zoom, great. That's my backup for a 2-on-1. But And if they say, hey, what are we doing again? I'm going to use that forward script that we've talked about. We talk about help, leads, insurance, and the name of the person that's got the business credibility you're going to introduce them to. Okay. So, and I remember to this day when I did my first initial interviews, even when I was running ads or whatever else, I had everybody, the second part of my interview process, even if I did some kind of intro, was to get them on the phone with Alex. So I was talking good about Alex. And this goes back to 22 years ago when I got started, because I knew Alex had more business credibility than I did. And so even though I could articulate the details of the business, it's not so much about the depth of your knowledge as much as the height of your conviction or whatever that is. But if I got that right, but bottom line is Alex had a conviction because of the way I built him up. So, but using that forward script again of, help, leads, insurance, and the name, or in this case, Alex or whoever you're working with, it's got the business credibility. Now, again, some people, like I had somebody practice a script the other day, and they said, "Hey, Joe, hey, man, we need help because there's leads and insurance, and you got to talk to Alex. Bye." I was like, okay. I was like, good job, Dave. You used the forward script. Oh, I'm proud of you. High five. I said, now let's improve that. I said, it's meant to be a little bit conversation. We just give you the 4 words so you can build around it. A little bit of poetic license is required. So if you can weave it into a conversation, what we're trying to do is make it simple enough that you can follow it and not be so restrictive. But if you can keep the essence of it in there and then get them to the time with Alex. So, hey, you know what, Alex told me he might be available. Let me see if I can get him right now. Or he told me he's got time Saturday morning or this afternoon. What works better for you? So that's the simplicity of what is the script and then how do we use it. And the key is to try to book it out in the next day or two, keep it short. Say, hey, look, let's take 10 or 15 minutes, give you a chance for him to get to know you, talk about what we're doing, see if there might be a match, and we'll go from there.
Yep, it's very simple. Like Mark Osuna says, it's sorting, because you invite them and they either show up or they don't show up, right? And when they show up, they either get in or they don't get in. And if they get in, they either do something or don't do something. And if they do something, they either come to an event or they don't come to an event. And if they come to an event, they either duplicate what you just did for them with other people, and that is who you want to work with, baby. You are looking for aces out of a card deck of 52. We know there's 4 out of 52. Who are the aces? They are people that are, number 1, they're coachable. Number 2, they have a deep desire to change their lives financially, and they believe you're the one that's going to be able to do it for them, and the alliance. Third is that they've got credibility with their contacts. They are like 7, 8s, and 9s to have credibility with their other contacts that are 7, 8s, and 9s, right? You bring a 1 on, they have credibility with 1s and 2s, right? But if you find 7, 8s, or 9s, they have credibility with 7, 8s, or 9s. So you're looking for people that have credibility with their contacts. And finally, they're tough. They don't give a squat if someone says no. They're not going to run away with their tail between their legs because their best buddy decided not to get in. Their best buddy says, why are you doing that insurance thing? They're tough enough to withstand those knuckleheads that don't see it. Because part of the filter sorting process is there are people that won't see it. And I am not going to put my business in the hands of people that don't see it. But I am going to put my hands in the business of people that duplicate, because with duplication comes multiplication. Like Mr. Joe Dukes and Mr. Joseph out there with Mike, those guys are those aces that we're looking for. So the invite's great, but if you don't have anyone to invite, then you're going to be sitting on your thumbs, right? So I'm going to bring my man, Patrick Connors, on. He's going to talk to you about building a list of names. Patrick.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I loved listening to all those stories. I got fired up. I wish we could listen to all of them. But like Anne-Marie Brax, young lady down in Hawaii, Jose Compton, young man up in Washington, they were hired by guys in their 60s. But those 60-year-olds are not messing around. They're hiring the sharp young people. They know what they're doing. Think about what happened. Like Anne-Marie, bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii. That's what she could afford. From Hawaii to North Carolina, she could afford a one-way ticket for her and for Perry. Think of the chutzpah. I mean, that's just awesome. And then Jose has this phobia of flying. He doesn't let that stop him. He drives from the great state of Washington all the way down to North Carolina. It's like 2.5 days. Marvin and Rachel sold their wedding rings to come up with enough money to get to one of these conferences. I feel inferior to these stories. I'm like, wow. I mean, let me tell you my first story. Mike had to overcome his logic. He had to overcome, like, does this mathematically make sense to come to a conference? Let me tell you how I got to my first conference. It's very simple. Alex shared, by the way, I should say, Marvin and Rachel and Anne-Marie and Jose, they're all going to Cancun on the Alliance dollar. They don't have to pay one-way tickets to go to Cancun. They go to the conferences, then they learn stuff. They learn how to sell. They learn how to build their team. And now they're going on these free trips. And you can come join. Anyway, so Alex tells me, thanks, Adam. Alex says, hey, Patrick, you got to see this thing. I'm going to go down. I'm getting in a van and I'm going to drive 8 hours and I'm going to go see Andy Albright. And I'm like, who's Andy Albright? He's like, dude, I'm just telling you, I'm going. And by the way, I'm taking a van. And you know who else is in the van? Noel is in the van. And I got this guy coming and this guy. And if you're out there thinking, is it okay if I just want to go along, or does it have to be hard and I have to overcome and people have to bang on me to go? No, I'm gullible. Alex used his Jedi mind tricks and said, hey, these people are going. And I'm like, can I go? Can I go too? It's easy to get some people to go. It's not like you have to bang on them all the time. Like for me, I was just like, can I go? And then he used his Jedi mind tricks on me again. That meeting that Mike was talking about in Florida, Alex was like, hey, Patrick, I got one more person I can get to this meeting. One more person. I'm going to bring you. And I'm like, yes! He could have brought anybody. He could have brought 10 people. You understand, guys? It's like he's got the mind tricks. So when Mike says less is more, when you're talking to your people, what Mike means, he made it very clear, just get them to Mike, get them to Alex, get them to Jake, get them to Joseph, get them to Megan. These people know how to get people. They know how to invite, present, close. Reno is going to be awesome, guys. Would you like to have a lot of people at Reno? Would you like to have a whole team? You heard Megan say she's bringing a whole team. You want to have a whole team there? All right, well, let's get after it. Here's what you got to do. You need a list of names. You need people to call. You need people to call. Who are these people? Here's what you do. If they would recognize your name, they should be on your list. If Alex calls them, if Jake calls them, if Joseph calls them, Megan calls them, Mike calls them, Noel calls them, if they would recognize when they say, yeah, I'm calling because Bob gave me your name. If they know who Bob is, they should be on your list of names. That's it. We'll do the sorting. We will do the sorting. Your list, look, Mike and Noel, they don't have a lot of time. Alex, he has no time. If you give him a list of name and someone else gave him a list of 100 names, which one is going to more likely to have aces in it? Get him a big list. Here's a cheat code. You take your phone and you download the app. If you have an iPhone, you download MC Backup. It's free. And you get a whole list of names. Just get that list of names. If you have an Android, it's Contacts to Excel. Contacts to Excel. You get a whole list of names. Keep the list with you. This morning, when you got notified of this call, if you have your list with you, did you send out a text to 2 more people at the last minute? Hey, can you get on this call? That's how you get people to Reno. But the best thing is, there's in your phone, there's this is a serious hack. There's 15 or 25 people in your phone right now, in my phone, in Alex's phone, that will do this. They will do it. You're sitting on a gold mine. Okay, how do I know? Because your name is in their phone and you're doing this. Okay, Alex, I could go on and list the names, but I'm taking up your time.
Oh, dude, that cracks me up. Yes, I was on Andy Albright's phone, baby. I was on Andy Albright's phone, and thank God, because no one on this call, other than Marvin, would be in the business had Andy not put me in his phone. he would be giving up millions of dollars of overrides on our team over the last 22 years had he not called me from his phone. Gang, this business is simple. Let your upline help you build it, man. So the announcement, the big announcement. So I'm about to announce the hotel for Reno. So what I want you guys to do is pull out your credit card and get ready to dial this number I'm going to give you, okay? And I'm going to announce the hotel, all right? So you guys got your credit cards ready? Because when you call them to book your room, you got to make sure that you book your room now, because by this weekend, it will be sold out. I guarantee it will be sold out. Their block of rooms for the Alliance will be sold out. But you have to get your room. Do not buy rooms for your block of tickets, because that is a bad move. We have had egg on our face when agents got crazy and reserved the room. You got to pay for that room right now, okay? So do you guys have your credit cards ready? Right? You guys got your pens ready? Okay, and I'm going to give you the 1-800 number, all right? Hold on, let me check. Okay. Andy said he didn't want me to announce it right now. He wants you to get the word out to all your people that the announcement is going to come out at 2 p.m. Eastern time on every possible way that we communicate to people. It's going to come out on Facebook. It's going to be coming out on email blast. It's going to be in WhatsApp. It's going to be coming out. So keep your credit cards out, okay? Because you will have the opportunity to get into that hotel and right away, like seriously, right away, reserve your room, okay? So anyway, thanks everybody for participating in this call. Look, list of names is simple. The invite is simple. What you need is you need your dream and goal to be so solid in your mind. You need your belief that the Alliance is your way to get it. And the way you get that is commitment, baby. Commitment to building this thing. Commitment to putting your faith and trust in the Alliance, in Andy Albright, and your upline team that's here to help you, because we will help you. We've done so well in this business because of the idea of multiplying the opportunity and finding winners like everyone on this call, Mike and Noel, Patrick and Suzanne, Joseph, Jake, John, Jose, Megan, Marvin, people like this. These are the aces that you will walk through broken glass to find, and they're out there. And you know what? They are in your phone. I promise you, they're in your phone, because remember, if this makes sense to you, it's going to make sense to people that you know. So rock on, man. God bless everybody. Appreciate Avian Harkey, the Avian team. It's glad to serve you, plug into everything that the Alliance is doing, and God bless, man. Thank you, Andy Albright. Appreciate everything you've done for me, brother. Love you and Jane. Love everything you've done for us. Man, keep rocking. Enjoy Belize, baby. All right, man. God bless everybody. Take care.